Even though Europe is one of the most expensive continents to travel in, it doesn't mean you can't travel in Europe on a budget. I've just booked 2 flights and 4 nights away where I'll visit 2 different countries for less than £100. And you could do it even less. And in this video, I'll show you how you can do exactly the same and how to make your money go further so you can travel to different parts of Europe without needing a second job or taking out a loan to do it. So first things first, let's talk about the flights. One of the biggest expenses of traveling is always going to be booking your flights. So once we cut the cost down on this, it means the whole trip is going to be a lot cheaper. And being honest, if flights were free, I'd probably never be in one place for longer than a week or 2, but they're not. So let's find out how we can save money on flights. Now you can pick exactly where you want to go and when you want to go, but if we're talking budget travel, having a little bit of flexibility and being able to choose dates based on price and places based on price is gonna save you a lot of money and make your money go a lot further. That being said, you'll still be able to pick out of certain destinations, but what I like to do with this is just pick the places I don't want to go, and then out of the few cheaper options, I will choose one and go there, assuming I haven't been there before and assuming that I'm quite content and happy to go there in the first place. So once you find out where you are going to fly to and what fits within your budget, then you can start picking the dates that suit you. Now, if you want to see multiple countries in one trip, then all you got to do is click multi-stop and pick the arrival destination and the destination you want to come home from, whether you fly in between or whether they're neighboring countries and you just cross the border and then come back from another one, like I'm doing very soon from Albania and Montenegro. I like to use Skyscanner. You can use Google Flights or another flight comparison site, but being honest, they're mostly the same. There may be £1 or 2 in it, but generally speaking, once you click through the link and go through to the next page and the actual provider of the flights, the price is going to be pretty similar. Now, you'll hear a lot of people say book in the week to save money, but I think that's a thing of the past. And even though some places, if they've got a special date or occasion on or an event on over the weekend, might be a little bit more expensive, generally speaking, you're going to get good prices in the week and over the weekend. And one thing you need to do just before you're about to book is get a VPN. If you haven't got one on your desktop or laptop, then use it on your phone. There's an app called Free VPN, creative name, I know, but it's just a green icon and it basically disguises where you are in the world. It's called a virtual private network, that then you can pretend to be in a different country or use a network that is in a different country, and then it will give you the price relative to where that is. The internet today will try and outprice you versus what they think they can charge you based on cookies and other things online. So if you do this, you will get the best price possible. So once you get onto Skyscanner, you can have a look through and you can check the place that comes up with the cheapest when you type into fly anywhere. And then from there, what you can do is pick the dates that suit you best, and once you've got them and you've got the cheapest combination, you can then go on to Airbnb, or if you're not happy with them, you can look at somewhere else. I've looked at Sofia because that is the first place that came up, the cheapest place, and it's somewhere that I haven't been, a country that I haven't been, and somewhere, to be honest, I would be quite interested to go because I love ticking new countries off of the list. And then if I wasn't happy with that or wanted something different, I could go on and look at somewhere else. For instance, Faro, Portugal comes up quite cheap. It's somewhere unique, and even though I have been to Portugal, I haven't been to the south of Portugal, so it would be good to explore that whole area. If you can't get a cheap flight in, 2, 3, 4 day return flights, then maybe look even a little bit longer if you've got the budget or if you've got the time. For instance, if you went down to the south of Portugal, you could explore for, let's say, a week. You could stay in hostels that could work out pretty cheap, or you could look for accommodation down there. If there's 2 of you, it's probably going to work out cheaper to actually book a cheap hotel, an apartment, a villa or a hotel, whereas if you are going alone or going solo, it's probably going to be smarter booking a hostel. Also, if you want to meet people, you can do, because in hostels you're going to meet other like-minded people, solo travelers that want to meet people as well. Now, if you want to do a multi-stop and go to a different country or different city, what I would suggest you do is have a look on Google Maps, find where you're going. For this example, we're looking at Sofia. We can zoom all the way out, look at cities that are close, look at countries that are close, and then you could quite easily shimmy along to a different country, fly back from their airport, or go to a different city in the same country and fly back from that airport. It's very easily done. Sometimes it saves a lot of money. That's what I've recently done from Albania to Montenegro. That is going to cost me £35 or £37 for return flights. One thing just to bear in mind with this is just check your visa and border stuff beforehand, just to make sure that you can easily transition over from country to country or from place to place, and make sure there's a transport link and you don't get caught out having to get a hefty taxi payment on the way. Now, I personally think Airbnb is going to be your best option, so that is what I would look at. Even though you might be able to find cheaper elsewhere online, generally speaking, Airbnb is going to be your safest, and the reviews are going to be the most reliable as well, and nobody can have paid for reviews because they actually need to go through and stay at the property to be able to upload the review in the first place. So if I was to go on Sphere and look for a few nights, then what I can see is that I can filter and make sure the price is within my budget. From there, I can actually look at which ones look nice, which ones have the best reviews, and then I can click on there, have a little look, and decide which one I want. As you can see, with this break, if you were going just for a few nights and if you got them flights, you would be looking at well under £100, especially if there was two of you. You'd be looking at under £100. And if you really wanted to stay budget, you could choose a hostel and get something dirt cheap, especially in Sofia. If you wanted to book a hostel in Faro, south of Portugal, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but you might find that you're quite happy to do that, and it means that you meet other people as well. Now, a couple of little bonus points with this is transport on the other end is going to inevitably cost you money to get to where you want to go from the airport. So what I would do is look at buses, look at trains, look at private taxis. What you can do at the airport, you can actually ask someone, are you going to here? If they are, do you want to share a taxi? I've done that plenty of times. It saves you a lot of money and it makes it easier for everyone. Chance to meet people too. I've done this in Prague a few years ago, met a couple of people that we got along with, met up with them for drinks later. Or alternatively, if you are planning to do a lot of traveling around during your trip, go onto kayak.com, look for car rentals and search for the days that you want. You might be surprised how cheap you can get it. I've just booked 2 full days in Montenegro for under £40, around about £37-38. What that means is, instead of having to pay for our transfers or transport from the airport to where we want to stay, which is an hour and a half away, we can get the car, drive there, explore for a couple of days, and we need to go back to the airport anyway to move on to our next place. So we will drive back to the airport, drop it off, and then move on. That saves money on the transport, saves money on taxis for a couple of days, and means that we have the freedom to travel around and explore. So I've just looked on here now, and if we were going to Milan, and I typed in Italy because I know you can get a good deal there, and it's somewhere that a friend of mine's just recently been. When I've been looking here, you can get £6.36. To put that into perspective, that's about $8 for 2 full days, which is mental. They must be money laundering or some madness. Anyway, if you were to go for the additional insurance, then you would be looking at an additional £5.78 per day. So you're looking for a total of around about £18 or somewhere in the region of $20 for 2 days rental car in Milan, in Italy. Honestly, it sounds too good to be true. It sounds like something you can't believe, but I've recently paid a very similar deal. You're insured, you're covered, everything. Madness. It would actually not make sense to book a taxi when it's like this, or book a transfer. Even if you use the car once to go from the airport to your place of accommodation and just leave it there and drive it back when you're ready to leave, you'll probably save triple the amount that you've spent on actually getting the vehicle in the first place. Hope this video helped you see that you still can travel in Europe on a budget, and if you want to move around, it is actually sometimes a lot easier than other continents because a lot of Europe is landlocked, so you can travel from country to country. You can get good deals on transport, you can get good deals on flights. Accommodation is where it's going to be a little bit more, and things like eating out. But if you want to go and travel these places on a budget, hopefully this has shown you that it's very possible, especially if there's 2 of you or a group of you. Booking an Airbnb, you're going to be able to save so much money. Thank you for tuning in, and if you like this video, please like, comment or subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.